Like growing up, I had a big ego too, and I was always about the area. Like I was always about 2168. I was about like we always screamed at our postcode at parties, and I realized that that was my only network. As I got older, and my parents ended up moving to Cabra, that like you're not gonna grow up, you're not gonna stay in that area forever, and me being juvenile, like thinking that my postcode was everything, that there's more to life than a postcode. There's a lot more to life than a postcode. You can love and you can represent your postcode, but it's not going to be your identity forever. And there's more important things to life, like making money. And if you're going to make money, you have to network outside your postcode. Coming from an Asian family background, like my parents always expected me to do really well in school because they paid for like all my extra tuition, like extra school stuff. They expected me to go to uni. They're always comparing me to my friends, like how well everyone else is doing, and cousins and relatives overseas. When I started to divert my attention to going out a lot more, my mum was quite disappointed, considering I was her only child. Like, it really broke her heart the day that I got arrested. And then the day that I saw her, after a year of being arrested, that kind of broke my heart. I think that was also another turning point in my life, because I didn't want to disappoint her anymore, because I had all this, I would say, like weight and pressure to make her proud. And I felt like this woman has given me life. And I disappointed her. She leaves for work before I even start school, and then she'd come home late at night, and I'd be out fucking around, going late, not focusing on schoolwork, and then just trying to, I'd say, not conform with the way that she wanted me to live my life. And I thought, like, well, I need money. This is how I'm going to make money. And it was easy. So I thought this was the right thing to do. So then I started selling weed and pills just to support a little bit of my life, just to get a little bit more money, a little bit more income. And that was all good until I got arrested for a replica firearm. So I spent about a week inside prison until I got bail. And I didn't learn my lesson. And I got out, my life was still the same. I still had to go to uni. I still had this same group of friends. I still had the same lifestyle, and I was still going out. But now, like, everyone sort of thought, oh, well, like, this guy just got out of prison. This guy got arrested, he's cool. Like, you meet more people. And then after I met more people, someone introduced me to selling heroin. And then when I started selling heroin, that's when the real money came in. And I thought, wow, like, my ego like shot up another level. I was making a lot of money. I was spending it just as fast as I was making it, just purely because all these things that I wanted when I was younger, I couldn't afford, and I couldn't really spend my money on. And now I can buy this, I can buy that. If I wanted this, I can pay for it now, and I'll just make back the money in a week. And then it all came crashing down after about a year or two, when I got arrested again. And then this time when they arrested me, I got caught red-handed. Like, I had the stuff on me. There was no way I was getting away with this one. There's no way I was fighting it, because they hit the place that I was storing everything. This is when I realized that my life was about to turn upside down. I got arrested straight away, not even a week in at Silverwater. They sent me off to Bathurst, and at this moment, it was like I lost everything. I lost everything and I had nothing. Like, I didn't end up saving a single dollar. I had a lot of regret when I should have done things differently. And that only added more to the depression. Because now at this stage, I was far away from my parents. My friends were far away. I didn't have a big family circle like what other people had. Like, a lot of people in the Asian community, especially around where I was living, like, everyone had like cousins, second cousins. I only had like one cousin living in Sydney, and I didn't have any other siblings, so it was just by myself. So I really felt alone. And then when you go to Bathurst, it's not an Asian jail. Well, no jail is really Asian, but like this was a Koori jail, and like you only had like what, 1 or 2 Asian boys in the yard, a couple of Islanders, a couple of Libos, but the rest was like Koori people. And then even when I met a couple of the Asian boys, I didn't really feel like I connected with them either. So I really felt alone. I like had nothing. I was overweight. I didn't have a single dollar to my name. Like everything just got taken away from me. And then I struggled for the first 2 years when I was inside. Only after I got sentenced, I made the decision that I had to turn my life around. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was my 25th birthday. I remember sitting around the campfire because we have to do this program called the Young Offenders Program to stop young offenders from reoffending. And there was the first camp that we did, and I remember sitting there. It was my 25th birthday. I was sitting around the campfire with the boys, and I looked around and I go, fuck, is this what my life's gonna be like if I come back to jail? Like, what am I gonna do in my life? Like, I'm 25 years old now. I got nothing to my name. I'm overweight. Like, my friends are moving ahead with their lives, and I'm surrounded by people who also have nothing like to their name. Like, where am I heading? And I thought, what can I do? So I got back to the jail and I realized, well, you know what, this camp has been an eye-opener, because it was it was a tough camp for me at the time, because you'd be walking for days and days, 2 days and 1 night, and it would just be like constantly walking all day, not even down a fire trail. It was like through the bush on top of rocks and stones, and you'd be walking with these boots that inmates before you, it's been through 1,000 inmates, and you'd have to put dishwashing sponges into the soles of the shoes just to make it slightly comfortable. And even then it was like hurting your feet like extremely bad. So I realized I have to do something to make the second camp easy, because the second camp was 3 days and 2 nights. And I thought, well, you know what, something has to change. Like, I have to start doing something to like better my life, to make it a little bit easier. So I started just training really hard to make the second camp easier. So if I couldn't really progress in any other way in my life, I might as well progress physically. I started just training really hard, and I looked around the yard, and I remember I had like just kind of like a light bulb moment where, you know what, like some of these boys in the yard, they're training really hard. I want to be like that, you know. I think I have the ability to do that. So I started surrounding myself with like the boys that were training seriously hard. And I thought, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's when I started kind of applying this, well, if someone else can do it, I can do it too, to my life. And that's where I kind of developed that mentality. And I looked around the yard, and there was always like absolutely lazy people that just didn't want to be around. And at the time, I didn't really, like, I never heard of the quote. I don't know if you've heard, like, you are the sum of your 5 friends, your 5 closest friends. And at that time, I didn't, like, I never heard of the quote, but now that I hear about it, I understand why I excelled so well during that part of my life, because the people that I was surrounding myself with was people who just focused only on training, and they were trying to better their life in every single possible aspect. And they were relatively intelligent people too, when the guys that I was training with. So I looked past beyond the race barrier, because in jail you generally just hang around your race and that's it. But I kind of looked past that, and I just wanted to be around people who were like-minded like me, that weren't about the race. They just wanted to train, be fitter, be stronger than everyone else. After being released, I went into like just a regular job, construction, pickpocketing, and I realized that wasn't for me. And I still loved the fitness and the training that I had, that I grew to love when I was inside. So I continued to train, and I thought, you know what, let's make some money. I'll go get qualified, I'll go get my certs, and maybe I can make some money training people, because people were still asking me to train them, well, after I got out. And then I started like my own personal training through the gym that I was signed up to. A couple months down the track, I started connecting with Joey, and I always told Joey, but I'd love to be part of your team one day. You know, like I'd love to like do what you do, like. And he's like, yeah, just keep working hard. And then I was probably really like still just I wasn't really progressing, but I was enjoying life for what it was. You know, I was a PT, I was making good money as a PT, and everything was good. Like I was happy with where I was very content. And then a couple of things happened. I think COVID changed a lot of things in terms of personal training. So I realized that, okay, money stopped coming in, and that hunger for money kind of came back. And I thought, wow, I really got to do something about my life, because I don't got money coming in. I started to become an online coach. So I moved most of my clients online, so to free up my own time too. And then my manager quit, and it opened up a spot for me, and I thought, I want to manage a gym too. I want to learn to manage a gym, because I might one day want to open up my own gym. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take up this role as manager while working with Joe for Confit Pathways and still focusing on my online business. I thought to myself that the more busy I get, the less likely I'd get into trouble. So I thought, yeah, I'd try to take up as much roles as I can and learn as much as I can, just so I can like progress. Because I feel like everything that I've done in my life up until this point I've acquired a certain skill to improve my life. The only advice I give to the young people that are going through what I went through would be, weigh up your risk to your reward. Like, is it really worth spending X amount of years in jail or getting arrested for X amount and then losing X amount of years because you don't get time back? You can't get time back. And if you really wanted to be rich, you'd find a way. With not having a big family and coming out of prison, I felt like it was so important to have my mum and dad there, just because they were like the only blood that I have. And I felt like, you know, your support and your network coming out is like the most crucial thing to have if you really want to change your life for the better. Because a lot of people, they don't do things for themselves, they do things for other people more. And if you really value your parents, I felt like it was so important that, all right, if I'm not going to do this for myself, at least do it for my mum, you know, like don't break her heart the way I did the first time. Right now, after everything that's happened, like now I pay all my parents' bills. I'm quite happy. Like, you know, my parents don't have to worry about anything anymore. Like I pay all their bills. I live quite comfortable by myself. In terms of 10 years from now, I will be a millionaire. Retire my mum for 3 times what she makes now. And same with my parents. I'd love for them to travel around the world too. Yeah. Well, that's about it. Like I'm gonna be a millionaire in a couple of years' time.